Hello and welcome to Global Market Bulletin TV. I'm your host, Layla Gulen. Today we welcome our guest, James Bartholomew, president of Ambow Education Holding. Well, we're so glad that you could join us, James, and you've recently joined Ambow as president during a pivotal time for the company following its return to profitability and the commercial rollout of HybriU. So for those unfamiliar, please start by introducing Ambow Education and its core mission. And then if you would, share why you chose to join at this stage and what excites you most about the opportunity ahead.
Thank you. And thank you for having us today and allowing us an opportunity to tell our story. So Ambow Education is a technology company that's all about transforming the way people learn, collaborate, and connect. And our mission is to lead a shift toward hybrid collaboration in the learning environment. And what I mean by hybrid collaboration is really the opportunity to bring the best of the physical learning environment, a classroom environment, and the best of a digital environment, which might be considered an online learning environment, to bring them together in what we call a phygital learning environment. And that learning environment is designed to deliver dynamic content and create deep engagement to students, no matter where they are, whether they're in a classroom or they're having to dial in remotely. I chose to join Ambo because I believe that the recent advances in technology can really help us transform how we come together and learn as a community. We can expand access to education in a way that hasn't been done so far, and we can improve outcomes for those students. Yeah. We've all seen over the last few decades how online education has really grown. In fact, in 2019, about 15% of all the students in the United States, that is higher education students, attended an online class. So they experienced a digital platform for their learning needs. And that expansion to a digital online modality has been really good for society. It's really allowed access for students that otherwise would not have an opportunity to take advantage of the benefits of education. So then fast forward to COVID in 2020, and virtually every student in America, whether they were a higher ed student or a K-12 student, was suddenly plunged into digital education as their only option. And we learned a couple of things during that experience. First, for a lot of students, they got exposure to this digital environment, and it really raised the acceptance rate to a digital learning environment, way above that 15% that we had in 2019. And it actually changed the expectations of many students that universities and schools would begin to bring education to where they are, as opposed to expecting the student to come to where the education is. Also, we learned during that time, though, unfortunately, that many students got left behind with this experience, right? So the digital learning experience didn't meet the needs of all students. And what we found is that some of the collaboration and engagement that you find in a physical classroom was lacking in the digital online experience. And many students and their teachers were left wanting for more of that engagement collaborations. So in essence, there's a trade-off of engagement and connection for flexibility and access. And that's something that we believe we can address. We believe at Ambo Education that there's another option. And HybriU is what we developed in order to address that issue. So HybriU is our platform that will enable high engagement and connection for students no matter where they are, whether they're in a classroom or the remote. And I believe in the mission of expanding access to education. So that's why I'm here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, many of our viewers are learning about HybriU for the first time. Can you just give us a little bit of a detailed overview of what HybriU is and what makes it different from conventional edtech or video conferencing tools?
Yeah, absolutely. So HybriU is an AI-powered platform that's designed to create truly hybrid experiences. So unlike conventional video conferencing systems that simply broadcast content online, kind of what we're using right now, HybriU enables real-time immersive engagement across multiple audiences. So to close the gap that I described a minute ago between in-person and remote learning, HybriU has been designed to integrate several innovations, and I'll kind of list out a few of those right here for you so you can get a picture of what HybriU brings to the table. So HybriU leverages AI to power cameras and microphones that are outfitted in the main classroom that follow along with the interactions between teachers and students, including the students that are remote. And it displays this interactions in an interface that allows all students to see and interact as if they're in the same room. So we're trying to overcome sort of the distance and the disconnect of the student that happens to be dialing in remote. Within the system, we've integrated a multilingual live translation. I know that's a mouthful. So for the Star Trek fans out there, think universal translator that's built into the system. So yeah, so a student in that's first language might not be English and finds a confusing topic can switch to the language of their choice and listen to the lecture and the interactions in the language of their own choice. And you can imagine the power this has for universities that attract a large percentage of international students. So that's a powerful tool that we think that will be really beneficial for a lot of students. We created an intelligent content capture and sharing feature. So this is a feature that we're really excited about that we think can elevate the learning abilities of most students. So what this does is it automatically creates a set of notes for each student, by the way, in the language of their choice. So if they choose a different language, it will translate and create the notes in that language. But it allows the student to, rather than spend time taking notes, to spend time interacting in the classroom and participating. But it also creates a set of notes that they can take with them, a digital set that's their own copy that they can annotate during class or after in the margins. They can highlight sections, and then they can also use the content in there. They can highlight it and go search on the internet through AI tools in order to further their research using this copy of the transcript of the class that they get to keep with them. So we think this is a really powerful tool that will empower students not only to pay more attention to class, but empower them to go back after class and really dive deep into the topics and learn more about it.
Sounds like it.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please continue.
So the tool also incorporates a digital whiteboard, which we're all familiar with whiteboards. We've seen the smartboard technology where there's a board in one location and maybe a board in another location, and students can from one side can write on one whiteboard and see it on the other. And it's a great innovation. We built one into this tool that's purely digital. It doesn't require a physical peripheral device. So once again, the student who's remote can interact on this whiteboard as if they're sitting in the room, just like every other student. So we're once again breaking down the barrier of that remote student from feeling different from the students that are in the classroom. Mm-hmm. And I got to share one more with you. Maybe my favorite feature of the entire system is this. That is the one that is a one-of-a-kind 3D experience that's really going to capture every student's attention. And I actually think most of the faculty's attention too. So imagine you're a professor in a classroom and your topic is anatomy today, and you're covering the heart. Well, today, most professors would maybe project an image of the heart up on their 2D screen. But in order to get the complex thought processes and concepts to the students, they might hand them a 3D model that they pass around the room, right? Well, in this case, the student who's remote is disconnected from that experience and is unable to participate. Well, imagine being able to project that same 3D model to all students in classroom and remote and be able to manipulate that model real time to match up with your lecture so that all students get the same experience. So I think this is going to catch a lot of students' attention, but it's really going to empower faculty as well. And then there's some really great analytical features that will help the university and the faculty to understand their curriculum better and evolve it for future use.
Very good, very good. Now, Ambo recently announced a deployment of HybriU at Colorado State University. and a licensing agreement in Singapore. So, can you elaborate on those deals and how they reflect market readiness for this technology?
Yeah, we're very excited about all of these deployments, and I'll first address the examples of the universities here in the States, but they're great examples of HybriU representing a real solution for the evolving needs of their students. Every institution and company that we've come in contact with and that we're working with has a unique kind of take on their opportunity, but there's a common thread or theme to all of them, and that is the growing need to connect people to content and expertise no matter where they are in an engaging way that's meaningful. So for some of these partners, the attractions, the ability to connect remotely without compromising engagement, which I described just a minute ago. But for some, the ability to connect multiple classrooms to create a single learning group really creates an attractive cost efficiency where one instructor can expand their reach to more students. It also allows institutions to overcome hard to find expertise. So we talked a little bit about nursing in an anatomy perspective, but we all know there's a shortage of nurses out there. To practice, it's even harder to find them to come into the universities and teach the next generation of nurses. So when you do have hard to find expertise, technology that allows you to connect classrooms can allow you to leverage that expertise over more students. So there you can see where each one of the features that I've described might address a different need for different universities, but no matter what combination of features each institution finds most important, HybriU is helping to create more engaging learning environments, and these partners reflect the market readiness for this technology.
And you've recently launched a new product called HybriU Conferencing. Can you talk about its use cases and how it extends HybriU's capabilities beyond the education sector and why that's important for growth?
Yeah, so while HybriU Education focuses on transforming classrooms to support hybrid learning, HybriU Conferencing extends our technology into the conference room and onto the event stages. HybriU Conferencing uses much of the same innovations as the education product and is designed to create a hybrid conference environment that enables both in-person and remote participation to engage as if they're in the same room, just like the education technology does. So imagine a large conference event with participants from across the globe. We've all been to some of these conferences, and it's not hard to imagine the features of HybriU enabling all participants to listen to participate in the language that they're most comfortable with. So this increases the attraction for more participants to come to these events, but it also isn't a leap of the imagination to see how features like our 3D capabilities can increase opportunities for the presenters to interact with their audience. Similarly, in a corporate boardroom with HybriU Conferencing, not only can participants participate without traveling, but also features like our intelligent content capture can create meeting notes and record keeping that can be attractive in that situation. So expanding beyond education into corporate events and corporate conference rooms is an important step for our growth because it allows us to address the needs of all industries by doing what we do best, which is connect people to content and expertise no matter where they are in a highly engaging way. So whether it's a corporate boardroom or an industry event, global meetings, HybriU Conferencing brings a level of intelligence and interactivity that conventional tools simply can't offer.
And Ambo posted its first annual profit in years just last year in 2024, driven largely by HybriU. So what's your monetization model and how do you see financial performance evolving over the next year?
Sure. So HybriU's business model is structured around both upfront and recurring revenue streams. We charge a one-time setup fee for deploying the system, which would include things like purchase of the hardware, hardware installation, software configuration, integration into their current environments, things like that. But beyond that, we generate recurring service revenues through subscriptions to things like software licenses for users. to cloud services for storage, and for for add-on AI features such as the real-time translation and meeting summaries. So these recurring revenues are on top of that upfront installation costs. So as we deploy more HybriU systems, our base of recurring revenue will continue to drive sustainable profiting. Looking ahead to next year, we anticipate continued growth in deployments, which is going to translate into stronger financial performance and an expanding footprint.
And with the success of your Singapore license, what does the next phase of international expansion look like for Ambo and HybriU? And how will that impact revenue and valuation, you think?
Sure, sure. So for our international growth, we've chosen a strategic approach of licensing HybriU to international partners so that we can remain focused on driving growth in the US market. And that's where we see significant demand and opportunity for expansion, and where we want to place our direct efforts. This approach allows our partners, though, to oversee localized deployment and support of HybriU in their regions. It helps us scale more efficiently without operational complexities and without having to build direct international operations. And we think this approach not only accelerates our global footprint, but it's also going to incrementally add to our licensing revenue share and revenue sharing income, which is going to positively impact both our top line and overall valuations. We believe this balanced approach is going to keep us focused on domestic market while still enabling some international growth.
So what's HybriU's competitive moat, and how are you positioned relative to larger ed tech and enterprise tech firms?
Yeah, HybriU differentiates itself through its unique position as a true hybrid technology innovator. Unlike many solutions that focus maybe purely on software or purely on hardware, or even the traditional video conferencing solutions, HybriU seamlessly integrates advanced software, specialized hardware, and deep domain expertise to deliver a unique experience. Our competitive moat is really built on a few things. First and foremost is our proprietary technology and our patented innovations. And add to that our domain knowledge that we've accumulated in both education and enterprise environments. Replicating HybriU would require significant investment in technical know-how. While the larger ed tech and enterprise tech firms certainly have strong market presence where we're going to play, we don't really see them as competitors. In fact, I think most of their customers are going to view HybriU as an add-on product that's just going to help improve the overall product that they put on the table. So our relatively narrow focus and proprietary capabilities are going to allow us to carve out a distinct niche, which is delivering hybrid collaboration solutions. So we really don't see them as a direct competitor, but more as a complementary, us as a complementary addition.
Very good. And what are some of the biggest misconceptions retail investors might have about Ambo or HybriU, and how do you plan to address those?
Yeah, so one of the biggest misconceptions investors might have is that Ambo is still primarily an education service company and that it has significant overseas operations. In reality, since separating from its overseas assets 3 years ago, Ambo has become a purely US-based AI-driven technology company. Another misconception might be that HybriU might just be another video conferencing tool. As we've discussed today, you can see that it's so much more than that. Our platform is designed to bridge physical and digital worlds, and that sets us apart from conventional video conferencing solution. So we think by sharing our success stories, by expanding our market opportunities, and showing financial performance, we're going to be able to help investors fully understand the value and potential of Ambo's transformation.
Okay, great. And I just have a couple more questions for you. Ambo achieved its first full year profit in 2024. What should retail investors expect in terms of sustainability, recurring revenue, and margin expansion moving forward?
Yeah, so after years of dedicated design and development, it's now ready to go. It's on the shelf and it's fully ready for the market. So as we expand our deployments, we expect to see significant growth for our recurring revenue streams. With our initial investments in the development all behind us, the unit economics of incremental deployments is really attractive. As our installed base grows, our margins are going to expand as well. And investors can expect that Ambow's recent profit isn't a one-time event, but it's a foundation for sustainable growth, driven by the strong momentum of HybriU and the rising demand for our collaborative solutions.
Well, to close, where do you see HybriU and Ambo in, say, the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, beyond continuing to deploy HybriU across more institutions and industries, which is going to be our largest area of focus, we are planning to build a comprehensive service model around HybriU over the next 3 to 5 years. Our vision is for HybriU to become not just a platform, but an ecosystem that empowers new ways of learning across time and geography. We see Ambo evolving into a global leader of hybrid collaboration with a robust and diversified revenue base supported by strong partnerships worldwide. We're excited for the developments that are ahead, and we hope you stay tuned.
Absolutely. Well, James Bartholomew, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us on Global Market Bulletin TV. We'll see you next time.